Hello, sorry this video is a little late, it's been a very hectic week. I thought I would do something a little bit different, not my usual art with pro markers or doodling or anything like that. I thought I would show what I have been doing since I was about 11 years old. I love beading and I love beads, I love the colours of them, they're just amazing. So I thought I would show something that I kind of developed a way of doing over a couple of years with my beads. So I remember seeing anyway, like people sticking shells to frames and things and decorating frames, and I thought it'd be really cool to do kind of like beaded frames. So these I did about 5 years ago, a long time ago. I haven't been doing anything recently because I've been concentrating on my artwork, but I've developed a video, developing a video showing you how I actually bead on frames. So these are 3 that I've done previously. The first ever one I've done I actually sold a while back, so I don't have that anymore, but these are 3 that I've done. They as you can see, it's just a normal frame. I usually use wooden frames because plastic and things don't really look too great. Like, I'll show you the one that I've got underneath, but a nice wooden frame. And when I first started, I actually used adhesive, the adhesive that comes in the squeezy, almost like metallic tubes like this, like super glue. So I used to use adhesive like that, but the adhesive actually leaves this cruddiness in between the beads and I don't like that, so I actually started using PVA glue, and any PVA glue will work. I just so happen to have some crafting glue that I got from a bead shop, but I would probably use PVA glue just because it's a bit cheaper. And then what I do is I just apply a bit of glue in one little section at a time. I don't want to do too much at a time. And I use tweezers to place the beads where I want them and then just continue all around the frame. So you can do any type of style you want, like the beads literally allow you to do anything. But I would say, depending on the frame you get, it kind of governs the style, the type of bead and stuff like that. Well, I'll get into that in a minute. So I'll show you what I've done in the past. So like I said, these have lasted 5 years, so they do last a while, so might be worth doing. Say if you have a certain colour decor or in your living room or something like that and you want a frame to match that colour scheme. So this one, the frame was actually ridged. It kind of raised, if you can see sideways, can you see how it raises up here? So it's not a flat frame. So to cover that I had to use these beads, which are called Bugle beads. So they are, let me take one out. They're actually, yeah, they're like a tube of glass with a hole in, so you can bead with them normally, but yeah. So basically I got a number of colours of those and I just stuck them in lines along the ridges. Yeah, this wasn't a specific pattern, but it just goes green. I think these are kind of like amber colour, then red, then amber, then green, blah blah blah. So that's that one. As you can see, quite nice and shiny. Rather like it. Hello. Yeah, so that's that one. This one, this was one of the, it's a bit cruddy at the moment because the beads that I used on this were actually coated glass, so the coating as I was beading came off and kind of leaves this cruddy mess on it, but it's still, you know, it still works. It's not bad, but I wouldn't probably use that type of bead again. I'll show you a mix of beads that you can kind of use. So again, this was actually a flat frame, but this is actually, I think it's wood covered in plastic or something like that. I'm not really sure, but it doesn't really look as nice and the beads didn't adhere to it as well. But the frame, I just used a stripy pattern, so I did kind of this luster colour and then I used metallic colours and did like a pattern of colour, but like I said, the beads were coated, the metallic in between the lustres were actually coated beads, so the coating came off and left an awful cruddy mess along the beads. But yeah, that's that one. So yeah, okay, this was probably the second one I ever did. Like I said, the first one was a polka dot, red polka dots with like pastel background. This is the second one I ever did, which was just waves of, like, at the time, all the colours I had, but I have a lot more now. But again, a couple of them had the covered colours on and left a bit of a crudiness here and here. So same with the glue, the adhesive left a bit of crudiness on this one too. But it was quite enjoyable, so I think I started with this top section and did a wave, and then I matched the wave going up and then just continued the wave going down. So it's quite a nice one. I actually really like this, and I like the colours, and it's a lot bigger. It's a nice wooden frame that I think I got from B&Q or something like that. But yeah, this one turned out quite nice. I'm gonna maybe look into putting resin over the top of them to hold the beads all down and create like a smooth finish, but it's actually quite nice to touch the texture and feel it. So yeah, so that's that one. And going back to the beads, I will show. So usually when I first started beading, I bought beads from kind of bead shops and crafting shops, which came in these kind of boxes like this, and these were originally £1 a box, which ran quite expensive, but they were all right quality. Like I have a couple here. So you've got your silver lined beads, so there's kind of like a colour and then it's lined inside with kind of a silver, as you can see there. And then you could get kind of like metallic beads. Like, see, these metallic beads don't have a coating, the actual bead is metallic coloured in the glass, whereas the beads I used on that other one were cheaper, and I bought them thinking they would be just like these ones, but they actually ended up being coated, and you could see it, and it kind of flaked off even without any glue on it or anything. So the chemical glue, because it was adhesive, kind of took that colouring off, which wasn't great. But anyway, you live and learn. But yeah, like I say, I used to buy my beads like this, in this form, and now I actually buy it in bags like this and this from eBay, from different shops. Like if you just search seed beads, do you know, size 11, that's this size. But I actually use size 15 things as well in other projects, and they're quite inexpensive really. So in these boxes you get approximately 15 grams, and that would have cost me £1. Whereas on the internet, when I first started buying anyway, sometimes they can be a lot cheaper, sometimes a bit more expensive. I could get double that for £1. So, do you know, you've got to look and find things that that are worth the money in a way, but also good quality. Like, you can't skimp on the quality. So anyway, for this frame I will be showing in this video, I am using a wooden frame. I'm using black seed beads, and also these pearly, I don't know if that's going to focus, there we go, these pearly seed beads as well, and it's going to be polka dot, so black polka dots with a pearly white background, and I'll show you how I do that now. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, so I have finished my frame as far as I can go. I actually ended up running out of my pearl beads. I have plenty of black ones, but I've run out of my pearl beads. So this is the end product so far. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably already seen it. Also Twitter. But yes, as you can see, I don't know if you can tell on camera, it's a lot less cruddy. There's no awful gluiness on top. But that's because I used PVA. So I would suggest, if anyone's wanting to try this, use PVA, not adhesive. Okay. As you saw in the video, there is a very precise way of doing this. You can't just put glue down and throw your beads down, because if I show you these black ones, actually I'll show you with a coloured one, these pink ones. If I show you with these pink ones, if I just sprinkle those on, you can see that there's holes facing upwards, but when you watch me doing the video earlier on, you can see how I have to put the holes facing each other so you only see the edges, otherwise it's going to look very messy, unless you want that look, but you have to stick with that one look, otherwise it does look very messy. I would suggest keeping the holes not shown, because I just think it looks a lot nicer. You'll also see that I've got to be very precise, so with circles you create the outside of the circle and then you just slowly build it up and build it up, so it's basically lots of rings of beads all facing one another, and then the outside you try and do lines, straight lines, but if obviously the beads are all going to be different sizes, different shapes, so sometimes your lines will curve, they will not match up, you're gonna have to create half lines, stuff like that, but that's all like a lesson. You just flow with it, but as long as keeping it neat. As long as it's neat, it will look nice. Also at the start of the video you saw that I've put bugle beads along the edge. I do this because it's a lot easier to bead the inside if you do the edges first. So I always put a line of bugle beads on the outside and the inside, so that my beads on the inside of those lines will just form there. They won't start to fall over, or if you touch them they won't kind of push over and be slanted and things like that. But it depends what type of look you are going for. I don't know, you might want kind of like a, you know, circles, holes showing on your beads along the edges. I don't know. Whatever style you go for will determine, you know, how you apply the beads onto the frame. So yeah, so my process was do the borders with the bugle beads, then do the circles with the black seed beads, and then do the background and fill it all in. So yeah, I ran out of beads with this tiny little patch left, which was unfortunate, so I'm having to order these beads in. But if you follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and maybe DeviantArt, I don't know whether I'll post this up, you will see the finished product in the end. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.